Want some help? As soon as I get here, I'll be able to get here too. I don't know what this bike's for, but it's fine. Scooter, shower thing. There's a bike over there too. So I wasn't going to go home, but a fucking family showed up. So this is somewhere in North Narrabeen. There's terms of the specifics, but I don't know what that is. So I didn't want to turn this into an exploring film, but we might have to. Sorry about it. I have been cutting back on exploring shit for a bit, so, but trying to find a, so I'm going to the Narrabeen AA meeting tonight, which is about 3.5 hours away at this moment, and so I thought I'd find a couple little areas, so I can just sit and talk in the video vlog. So first impression's okay. It's a very it looks like a raw used place. I don't think it's a creepy area. I refuse. Yeah, it looks like there's a field up that way, and so, but the specific area doesn't look very creepy at all. You might get used to flying some shit, but we'll have a little water. But we've got to check out this spot of the beach here, okay? So I came up from here, just like the tennis board. Look out. I will, because I haven't been here before, so may as well, but it's a pretty good view. It's just the sun, it's afternoon sun, so it's exposed and shit, so. She's gonna ruin my makeup too. No, that's good. Yeah, I might have to retract the creepy shit. I understand it's going to be that bush regeneration, but what's the point though? Since I'm here, I am going to look around a little bit. Oh, I found another chair. Hang on. So I'm not going to stay here long. I might actually come back here at a later time vlog. But one of these places to do somewhere different from Manly for once. I kind of realised the last few hours my vlogging, it's practically centered around Manly, so anyway, not, I guess that you can call them revelations and stuff, because I'm kind of spilling the beans too much on other people's business and shit. I'm not going to stay here long anyway, I'm going to walk back down. That, on and off recently, but for a period of time I was talking about like having a rock bottom. And it, you know, it spawned from a relationship or interacting experience with the girl and all that. I obviously can't remember off the top of what I've said and haven't said, but so, but you know, I don't hate her at all. You know, I mostly feel hatred. I put it like this: I do mostly feel hatred towards her, but I'm not actually going to do anything about it. And the word on the street, which I'll remain nameless, and if you are watching this and you know who you're talking about, people are still shaming you for the way you are. But apparently she doesn't, obviously doesn't want to say to me, but mainly just out of confidence here, I guess. Yeah, she's the one in the wrong and all that sort of thing. But apparently I've inspired, not uninspired her, that's probably too strong, but a reason to kind of get her up. And apparently last, just over 4 years now, that, you know, she has gotten a lot more, a bit more healthier as well, but who knows. But which is, it does warm me a little bit that the fact that it's done, it's just probably not in the way that it is. One would hurt out, you know. I'm kind of conflicted on it too, like, I'm happy in one aspect that she's changed her life a bit better, but would rather do people wrong still, but who knows. So I'm going to head back down, I don't want to spend too much time. Well, maybe I should actually walk down a bit more. Yeah, cause why do I go to the green part where it's going to be fucking full of people? Okay, I regret coming up here and I don't at the same time. So I'll give a look, turn the camera around to give you guys a look at where I'm at. So and this is just over to the right. I don't think the camera will do it justice, but way too many fucking people down there. Oh, fuck people. But anyway, I'm here to video journal. Shit, not fucking like Jack Carrick said I'd rather be kids than parents. Oh, Flagrant Holiday, another YouTube channel that I've built and discovered. Fucking hilarious. And yes, I do think he's surveillance camera guy, Darcy, whatever. This is another YouTube channel to check out. Anyway, I'm gonna walk through here. So it's actually my turn. Since the first time I'm actually walking through, I'm gonna turn the camera around. So I don't know, that's probably just overgrown and shit there, still fenced off. It is pretty pretty. So, but I don't know if this is just a quiet time, or if it just never gets used. So, this is my first time actually walking through here. So, okay, see, maybe this area could be a spot of like weird shit. Yeah, look at it. So, okay, let's look back at some of this stuff. That, so it goes up around here, which I won't have to wander too far down. And the people's back of the people's houses and shit. Okay, so that's the road that I passed up on. Actually, I shouldn't go down there. Actually, no, fuck it, I'll go down here. Next time I'll go through there, okay? I'm down here. See, the northern beaches of Sydney is full of places like this, so... but yeah, you know, it's life goes on, and that's the hard thing too, you know. Yes, I'm still emotionally hurt by that girl that I just talked about, but, you know, but, you know, maybe I should wait till I sit down before I talk. But anyway, the Northern Beaches is full of places like this, and to be honest, I regret not making use of it, to be honest. So, it's, so the beach is just over there. Coming across a bridge. So, you're seeing this for the first time with me, the scenic walkway. I hate bridges and they scare the shit out of me. I'll hate to live in houses that are just over there, like, then my sunglasses are dark, oh yeah, eventually, so. Yeah, see? I used to work over there. I still stand by there's more weird shit happening around the beaches than one would think of. So it's pretty cool. The only problem is you get a lot of both, see, look at the fucking car park down there too. Fucking joke, dude. Right. I swear the Northern Beach is getting so much busier in the last 20 years. Well, that's just nothing. Alright, here's something outside. North Narrabeen Head now. Yeah, sorry guys, I did try to find a place where I could sit over there, but clearly it's not worked out. Now, I'm outside the Woolworths at Narrabeen. Been here before, of course. Yeah, fucking alright. Check out this spot. One of these days I'll get onto the fucking onto one of these islands for us. Oh, that's more ducks. Oh, it's swimming over. Oh, I shouldn't be swimming. Let's just stop this tide. Oh, there's dog shit everywhere. Anyway. I can see. Back here? Fuck. Let's drop another camera. I don't know where the light can stop this. There's bird shit everywhere. Another horrible idea, Darcy. Get some of their fucking eggs. Starving and shit. Man. I've been stopping early to eat. And what I'm going to do is probably go up, walk past the road. Yeah, I could have grabbed something from fucking the road. Oh, fuck, what's that? See the old bloke there? What's that there? Oh, down. I'm kind of just looking at glass, but I can see most of the ocean from here. I won't see me. So, oh, fuck, what's this? I had a bunch of stuff. Yeah, that chicken shop's filthy. I gotta stop eating there. I've got a great D4 film too. Old man's been for ages. Yeah, that chicken shop was filthy. I gotta stop eating there. So I just came down here early just to kind of check it all out. Do some vlogging. It's somewhat different from the Amazon at home. And in the last few hours I haven't been using my webcam at all, which I might not do. I should hopefully leave myself a note when I get home, when I'm actually doing some more vlogging, is to leave like a list of things I can talk about at home. Anyway, I didn't do much. I released a did it after on this clip. I released another volume of poetry. I think random poetry is all you can. So, yeah, but the reason why I come out and do things like this as well, just to hopefully be a bit more present, sit down, be in my thoughts, and do like a stream of consciousness type. You know, and look, I'm glad she's found another dude that that girl I was talking about before. And actually the guy looks a really good, just a more normal guy. I hope so. I don't, because I don't know enough to go by, but the girls have the suspicion he doesn't know. He's a good dude, but what is it like? But who knows though. So that's the kind of things, you know, you gotta clear the refugee passes for saying everyone, you know? But,
Sounds pretty good, but it's too far close to the ocean. So you know, if you wanted to surf, you can't, it's too close to the sun.
I like coming anywhere quiet, basically. I forgot about this spot. I should have just came straight here. Right. I'm not, Narrabeen's not off the top of my head, so I'm in South Narrabeen, it's going to be technical stuff. I guess that's a lesson for people, you know, when you wrong and hurt people, they don't forget about it. You know. Now I've done the right thing, you know, I've even had to make a couple of posts reports about this video as well. You know, just a track record. You know, and I just kind of go under the bus too, you know, with the peer group. You know, it's unfortunate too. You know, people miss out on good opportunities. My part, I should have just walked away from the word go, which I recognised early on, and even said no. I told her. I guess even just over like 4 years and a couple of months and stuff, it still affects me today. You know. You know, and it's also too. I've really got to follow through and make comments as well. You know. There's a couple of people that I've sent messages to about it, whether we want to catch up. You know, they couldn't even bother to say no. You know, like I'm busy, I'd love to, all that shit. You know, can't force people. All I can do is be good influence. When I was at the hardboard meeting last night, it was actually really good shares. Like, you know, people talked about being a good influence in people and all that sort of stuff. You know. It's funny how sometimes women generally want to cut off good people, you know, healthy people in their life, but boys want to fucking take them and stuff. Now, I've done an NA meeting in fucking months as well. Like, March, time is 5th. I haven't done it, you know, I haven't done a meeting this year. Oh, that's all I can do. It's hard to move on and continue growing, knowing that there's so much ugliness in the world. moments like this, it's kind of like, oh fuck, what's talk therapy? I find it very hard, you know. It takes me talking therapy too. I'm also going to do work on my sunglasses as well. It took me a while to get to high ground. Yeah, people, it's easy to say it is what it is and let go and move on. But things have changed perspective on it, you know. And as for that other girl that I was kind of saying, you know, I could call it, I don't want to put it down, but it's also the knack too. Like, I got a knack for unhealthy behavior. Yeah, it's really hard for people for my accent, my friends and shit. But, yeah, this week I, you know, a bit disheartening too. It honestly does feel like there's nobody I can actually reach out to. And the ones that can, some of them, busy or not interested. It is weird, you know. But I wish on some level, like, you know, just developing. Oh, I'm fucking yeah, that's the thing. Oh. I guess that's the thing. You know, you look at the different lives that people live, and somehow you're stuck being yourself. That's the thing. It's either a cruise ship or a navy ship I can see out in the distance.
see a seaplane flying across the ocean. Few beach fishing. Oh. I see 5 rods out. Yeah. Personal world. All the people on the beach have their own personal problems, things to work on. Like, I feel so disconnected from everyone. Welcome in the mail run. Oh, it's like pretty lifeguard. I like just here in the water, shadows of people, beach vibe. I wish I would, it's not that I admire people who do it, but I'm glad there are people, in a way, I'm glad there are people out there who kind of easily just move on, or not move on, but at least put in the work that they need to do to kind of get past things. To be honest, I didn't say hello to anyone. I said hello to some people yesterday. It's a bit upsetting, it's just, I've got to rock up to a meeting, a 12-step meeting, just to fucking interact. I'm sure I've talked about some like past perks and stuff, like the thing is, I could sit by the ocean right now and just fucking enjoy, enjoy the weather, enjoy the ocean, the waves, big fun days. Just really, I can't see like shit anymore. I can kind of see it's really out of the distance now. Fucking hell. Imagine being that wealthy, you can like buy a place on like one of those luxury yachts or something. Cruise ships. But it's really funny having interpersonal relationships with other people. But it's the thing is, it's okay. It's okay that I come home. I want to stuff. It is a bit disheartening too. That urge just to get up and go now. It's kicking in. Also true. There's somebody like friendship breakups, Look, I'm up for like pen powers and stuff, but I'm not kind of 100% for like people just to have an online friends as well, you know? That's the thing. You know, I'm looking forward to reading my book before work. I'm still reading myself before, which is finally getting away of like getting able to read it, you know. But I really like but yeah, there's like subreddits and stuff about online friendship and stuff. I get it, you know, there's other people like me who are switching that just don't have that sort of gift of gab just to make friends. I'm not complaining, people aren't rude and stuff, like, people that see it meeting also, I'm gonna go swim in the ocean, I'll go to the dive. You know, I'm not up, but like 10 pounds like that. One or two people like that, like, you know. But I'm not quarantined. Staying connected is one thing, but you know, what all you're doing is fucking like, or you know, stay online. Yeah, that's basically social media. It's also too, it's how people use it as well, like, you know, with COVID as well, people doing deliveries rather than going around to the shop. But anyway, the hardest thing is doing the right things in spite of it. I've just realised this house that I'm looking at, I don't think it's fucking empty. Maybe I'm living somebody else's dream. Could have put this shit up here. Or, you know, current world population is 8 billion people. So I'm living somebody's dream life. Parallel universes. I'm sure there's like alternative lives that Darcy's fucking. To be honest, I'll be happy with one or two friends. Say, now we're gonna fucking drench this out, so. Like, the northern mix has changed a lot. Look, outside the industrial areas, the shops and the actual like heavy stuff, I swear, like, suburban areas just don't fuck. And that's one thing I've noticed. Yeah. And the cafe that I work at now in Manly, just realised he's had that shop for 40 fucking years. And he's the third person that I've heard him describe Manly like this. Manly was like an old fishing town. I wouldn't mind living in Narrabeen. It seems a bit bare compared to other places. It still feels like an actual fucking beach suburb. Surf houses is weird. I'm gonna buy a smoke. Water logo. There's a fucking mess too. I think it's a good machine. The reality is, fucking vortex is fucking very broad. But it's not being itself. It's being technical. I'd say at least an active social life. You know, it's so calm to start practicing social life,
Couple of songs today in black, division side. Like a walk the dog. So walk the dog. Face back. But she was so just walking the dog. If you don't know how to do it, I'll show you how to walk the dog. Just walking, yeah, she's one of the dogs. You like Carver if you want. He's on for the dances, finish song's called Too Many Shoes. Check it out on YouTube. This song's called California Sun. The sun sets here over the beautiful Narrabee. Anyone have to Thank you very much. Time for two more. We might give you three. Thanks, you've been a wonderful audience. I've been myself, Tony Blue. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Always good to have a nice audience. This song's by that band. Gather out for me.
You're seeing this Darcy band. Pretty cool, I wonder if there's anywhere I can sit now.
All the way from Sydney, Australia.
Man,
On the
it's way
drum.
too loud. Lolcow. I wish they would shut the fuck up soon, man.
Good luck.
That took me everything fucking nothing on. I don't know what it is, but something smells really good here at Food Wise. But hope you like the band. Yeah, get it, the boys. Yeah, the boys. Yeah, the boys. Think a better job, musos. Well, the thing is, I've only seen like a couple people from the meeting walk past, which is, I guess, it's alright. I don't know if anyone else is coming. I've seen them. Or yeah, probably, I don't know. Like I said, I don't always get invited to things. Or sort of. Really. I don't see anyone specifically standing out. I'm gonna take a piss and see what else I can. Hopefully it'll be a place I can sit down. Something or last week. Okay, what's in it? What are they doing? Fuck you guys, man. Well, I haven't seen anyone else. Pretty sure it is not fun. dog. I don't have any food or
But, you know, I really don't want to go help set up there. Some of the guys just straight up. The way of them, actually, to be sure. I don't think they make it.
This fucking hurts, you know? This hurts. Well, I'm gonna have a cigarette, relax, and enjoy the sunset.
The lecture is entitled A Myth of Human Progress, and Hedges has been called by Hugh Hamilton of WBAI's Talkback program one of the top 5 intellectuals in America. He was a war correspondent for 19 years, 15 of those years with the New York Times, and was one of a team of journalists at the New York Times who won the Pulitzer in 2002 for a series on terrorism. Hedges has taught at Columbia University, Princeton, NYU, and the University of Toronto. He is a senior fellow at the Nation Institute in New York presently, and he has authored books which include War is a Force That Gives Us Meaning, What Every Person Should Know About War, American Fascists, When Atheism Becomes Religion, Empire of Illusion, The Death of the Liberal Class, and his latest, which is co-authored with political cartoonist Joe Sacco, Days of Destruction, Days of Revolt. These last 3 mentioned are part of a trilogy. In the Days of Destruction, Days of Revolt, Hedges and Sacco examine the consequences of unregulated capitalism by reporting from what he calls sacrifice zones, the poorest pockets of this country, the United States, such as Camden, New Jersey, and the coal fields of southwest Virginia, that he says have been offered up for exploitation in the name of profit. Calls these sacrifice zones. Sacrifice zones. People have been sacrificed to the cause of profits. So, without further ado, Chris Hedges on the myth of human progress.
I have walked through the barren remains of Babylon in Iraq and the ancient Roman city of Antioch, the capital of Roman Syria, which now lies buried in silt deposits. I have visited the marble ruins of Leptis Magna, once one of the most important agricultural centers in the Roman Empire, and now isolated in the desolate drifts of sand southeast of Tripoli. I have climbed at dawn up the ancient temples in Tikal, while flocks of brightly colored toucans leapt through the jungle foliage below. I have stood amid the remains of the ancient Egyptian city of Luxor along the Nile, looking at the statue of the great Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II lying broken on the ground, with Percy Shelley's poem Ozymandias running through my head. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. Civilizations rise, decay, and die. Time, as the ancient Greeks argued for individuals and for states, is cyclical. As societies become more complex, they become inevitably more precarious. They become increasingly vulnerable, burdened by vast bureaucracies, an increasingly rapacious and disconnected elite, and a blind loyalty to ideological systems and ideas that no longer correspond to reality. And as they begin to break down, there is a strange retreat by a frightened and confused population from reality, an inability to confront the fragility and impending collapse. The elites who speak in phrases and jargon that do not correspond to the real retreat into isolated compounds, whether at the court of Versailles, the Forbidden City, or our own enclaves of wealth and privilege. The elites indulge within these enclaves in unchecked hedonism, the accumulation of vaster wealth and extravagant consumption, They shut themselves off from the suffering of the masses who are repressed to extract wealth upwards with greater and greater ferocity. Resources are ruthlessly and thoughtlessly depleted until they are exhausted or destroyed. And then the hollowed-out edifice, which appeared unassailable and solid, collapses. The Roman and Sumerian empires fell this way. The Mayan elites, after cutting down their forests and polluting their streams with silt and acids, retreated like all dead empires back into primitivism. As food and water shortages expand across the globe, as mounting poverty and misery, including rising food costs, trigger street protests in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe, our elites are doing what all elites do. They launch more wars. They build grander monuments to themselves. They plunge their nations deeper into debt. And they take it out on the backs of the workers and the poor. The collapse of our global economy, which wiped out a staggering $40 trillion in wealth, was only the first jolt. Our elites, after destroying and dismantling our manufacturing base, sold massive quantities of fraudulent mortgage-backed securities to pension funds, small investors, banks, universities, state and foreign governments, and shareholders. And when the speculative game imploded, they looted the treasury, crying out that the nation had a deficit crisis. And of course it does not. It has a revenue crisis. And began dismantling basic social services, making war on the last vestiges of our unions, slashing jobs, freezing wages, throwing some 6 million Americans out of their homes, and standing idly by as we created a permanent underclass of unemployed and underemployed, which now sees 1 in 6 American workers without jobs. The Mayan elite became, at the end, the anthropologist Robert Wright notes in A Short History of Progress, extremists or ultra-conservatives squeezing the last drops of profit from nature and humanity. This is how all civilizations, including our own, ossify and die. The signs of imminent death may be, to those who can break free from our electronic hallucinations, undeniable. Common sense may cry out for a radical, new response, but the race towards self-immolation only accelerates because of our intellectual and moral paralysis. As Sigmund Freud grasped, and beyond the pleasure principle and civilization and its discontents, human societies are as intoxicated and blinded by their own headlong rush toward death and destruction as they are by the search for erotic fulfillment. We live now in a nation where doctors destroy health, lawyers destroy justice, universities destroy knowledge, government destroys freedom, the press destroys information, religion destroys morals, and our banks destroy the economy. Turmoil in the Middle East, the implosion of national economies such as those of Ireland and Greece, the collapse of states such as Somalia and Ivory Coast, the increasing anger of a beleaguered working class at home and abroad, the growing, desperate human migrations, and the refusal to halt our relentless destruction of the ecosystem on which human life depends are the harbingers of our own collapse. They are the consequences of the idiocy of our elite and the folly of globalization. Protests and movements that are not not built around a complete reconfiguration of American society, including a rapid dismantling of empire, and the corporate state can at best only forestall the inevitable. We will be saved only with the birth of a new and militant radicalism, one that defies all formal power structures, including the Democratic Party, which seeks to dethrone our corporate elite from power, not negotiate for better terms. Human societies seem cursed to repeat these cycles of exploitation and collapse. The greater the extent of the deterioration, the less these societies are able to comprehend what is happening to them. And the earth is littered with the physical remains of human folly, ignorance, and hubris. There is a dark intoxication with extinction. Although this moment appears to be the denouement of the whole sad show of settled, civilized life that began some 5,000 years ago. For there is nothing left this time on the planet to seize, and we are now spending down the last remnants of our natural capital, including our forests, fossil fuel, air, and water. This time, when we go down, it will be global. There will be no new lands to pillage, no new peoples to conquer and exploit. Technology, which has obliterated the constraints of time and space, has turned our global village into a global death trap. The fate of Easter Island will be writ large across the broad expanse of planet Earth. The failure of the liberal class, whose role in society is designed to prevent unchecked assault by centralized power, is discovering what happens when you tolerate the intolerant. Let hate speech pollute your airwaves. Let corporations pry up your courts and state and federal legislative bodies. Let the Christian religion be manipulated by charlatans to demonize Muslims, gays, intellectuals, discredit science, sanctify unfettered capitalism, and become a source of personal enrichment. Let unions wither under corporate assault. Let social services and public education be gutted and stripped of funding. Let Wall Street carry out fraud, deception, and plunder with impunity, and you roll out the welcome mat for fascism. The liberal class and much of the left has busied itself with the toothless pursuits of inclusiveness, multiculturalism, identity politics, and tolerance, a word Martin Luther King never used, and forgot about the primacy of justice. It naively sought to placate ideological and corporate forces bent on the destruction of the democratic state as well as the planet. The liberal class, like the misguided Democrats in the former Yugoslavia or the hapless aristocrats in the Weimar Republic, invited the wolf into the henhouse. It forgot that, as Karl Popper wrote in The Open Society and its enemies, if we extend unlimited tolerance even to those who are intolerant, if we are not prepared to defend a tolerant society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed, and tolerance with them. Financial regulation, largely put in place by the New Deal, not only protected us from the worst excesses of capitalism, but were the bulwarks that made democratic participation possible. Workers in this country fought long and hard for their rights. They suffered brutal beatings, mass expulsions from company housing and jobs, endured crippling strikes, targeted assassinations of union leaders, and armed battles with hired gun thugs and state militias. The Rockefellers, the Mellons, the Carnegies, and the Morgans, the Koch brothers, Industries, Goldman Sachs, and Walmart of their day never gave a damn about workers. All they cared about was profit. The 8-hour workday, the minimum wage, Social Security, pensions, job safety, paid vacations, retirement benefits, and health insurance were achieved because hundreds of thousands of workers physically fought a system of capitalist exploitation. They rallied around radicals such as Mother Jones, United Mine Workers President John L. Lewis, and Big Bill Haywood and his Wobblies, as well as the socialist presidential candidate Eugene V. Debs. They had no illusion that the bosses were their friends, much less celebrities, to be admired and emulated. It is they who made possible our middle class and opened up our democracy. They fought back. The elite fought back viciously, act of faith, the highest form of spirituality. It is time for us to choose whose side we are on, who we will stand with as our civilization unravels, the hungry and the suffering, who already comprise half of our globe, are becoming as familiar to us as our own underclass. And it is time to accept that to live in the fullest sense of the word, to exist as a free and independent human being, means open rebellion and a constant defiance of all centers of established power, including the Democratic Party. Cast your whole vote, not a strip of paper merely, but your whole influence, Thoreau wrote in Civil Disobedience, after going to jail for refusing to pay his taxes during the Mexican-American War. A minority is powerless when it conforms to the majority. It is not even a minority then, but is irresistible when it clogs by its whole weight. Those who recognize the injustice of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, who concede that these wars are not only a violation of international law, but under post-Nuremberg laws defined as criminal wars of aggression, yet continue to support politicians, including Barack Obama, who fund and advance these wars, have forfeited their rights as citizens. By allowing the status quo to go unchallenged from Wall Street to Baghdad, they become agents of injustice. To do nothing is to do something. And those who profess a love of democracy and justice, but who continue to cooperate with these established power structures, practice a false morality. They vent against war and the corporate state, but do not actually resist. They take refuge in the conception of themselves as practical men and women, as realists, as moderates. They stand on what they insist is the middle ground, without realizing that the middle ground has shifted under us, and the old paradigm of left and right, liberal and conservative, is meaningless in a world where, to quote Immanuel Kant, all of our structures of power have embraced a radical evil. This timidity, this failure to act, is the worst form of moral cowardice. It cripples and destroys us. When Dante enters the city of woes in the Inferno, he hears the cries of those whose lives earned neither honor nor bad fame, those rejected by heaven and hell, those who dedicated their lives solely to the pursuit of happiness. And these are all the good people, the ones who never made a fuss, who fill their lives with vain and often empty pursuits, harmless, no doubt, to amuse themselves, who never took a stand for anything, never risked anything, who went along. They never looked too hard at their lives, never felt the need to look, never wanted to look. As long as we remain paralyzed by fear, and fear of the other is the only thing Obama and the Democratic Party intends now to offer us, we will continue to be disempowered and impoverished. To resist while there is still time has become a moral imperative. It must be carried out, not because it will or won't work. I'm not naive enough to promise you that it will, but because it is right. We cannot use the word hope if we do not actively resist, if we are not willing to make hope visible. Courage, as Aristotle wrote, is the highest of human virtues, because without it, we are unlikely to practice any other virtue. And once we find this courage, we find freedom. Camus argued that we are separated from each other. Our lives, he wrote, are meaningless. We cannot finally influence fate. We will all die. Our individual being will be obliterated. And yet, Camus wrote, one of the only coherent philosophical positions is revolt. It is a constant confrontation between man and his obscurity. It is not an aspiration, for it is devoid of hope. That revolt is the certainty of a crushing fate without the resignation that ought to accompany it. A living man can be enslaved and reduced to the historic condition of an object, Camus warned. But if he dies in refusing to be enslaved, he reaffirms the existence of another kind of human nature which refuses to be classified as an object. The rebel for Camus always stands with the oppressed, the unemployed, the sick, the homeless, the one of 4 children in this country who depend on food stamps to eat, the Palestinians in Gaza, the frightened families in Iraq and Afghanistan, the disappeared who are held in our global black sites, the legions of poor in our inner cities and oppressed rural communities, undocumented workers, those in our prison system. To stand with them does not permit us to collaborate with institutions such as the Democrats, who mouth the words of justice while carrying out acts of oppression. It means open and direct defiance and often very lonely acts of revolt. The power structure and its liberal apologists dismiss the rebel as counterproductive. They condemn the rebel for refusing to compromise on justice. The elites and their apologists call for calm and patience. They use the hypocritical language of tolerance.
Well, I'm not too sure what to make of that, so those long shots in Manly here in Manly, it's just a new product that I'm trying to do. A new way of processing. So, might as well. Sorry, I wasn't making any sense. So I'm trying to do a new way of vlogging as well, edited. The reason why I didn't do it for a long period is because it's the first time I actually tried to do it, so I didn't want to do too much of it. Well, I find a spot just to sit down. It's like the video I do that I had, where I sit, where I find somewhere just to sit down and just film for a few minutes at a time. So, it's not a new idea that I had, it's just the reason why I want to sit for a few minutes with the camera static still is just to let whatever happen happen. Just in case if I bring something up or capture something cool. So that was the point of my last video. And may as well document Manly at the time too. But,